And scriptures on air.
Welcome, everyone, to the new episode of the Epis On Air podcast. We got another great episode for y'all with your boy, Flash205.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
And we have a very special guest today to talk about his hit film, Justice League of America. Say hello, Hydraloonie.
Hi.
Alright, so, as we all know, I play Batman in Justice League, and it's a very good film so far, Rudy, I gotta say.
I've definitely been enjoying it. I mean, it always feels really fun to do it. You know, like there's a lot of. I mean, every project has moments that are more serious, and even this one does, obviously. But everything seems to move pretty fun. Obviously, I like going against Mac as Snapper Car. That's always really fun.
Mac has been doing very good.
Oh yes, very, very good.
Mac is good in everything. He's always the guy.
He's the guy.
He's the guy. He's dependable. But, so I was thinking we could look at, maybe some behind-the-scenes stuff, considering, most people have seen the movie, or, like, seen, as much as it's come out, so, so how did you... So you submitted your outline, right? Like, a bunch of people did? And, like, why did you want to make a film about, like, Justice League? Like, why was that the film you wanted to direct?
I was like 5 years old. The very first superhero show I watched was Justice League Unlimited. Very good.
Oh.
Very, very well made.
Good picture. Good picture.
I mean, it was very, very mature for its time. Great acting, great writing. Just loved it.
Yeah, I kind of miss the old DC animations because, like, not to just like totally crap on like the DCAU that basically just ended, but admittedly, it's been a lot more hit or miss than the 90s and 2000s because those, like the Paul Dini, Bruce Timm era was basically almost perfect, save for that one Batman Harley Quinn movie we will not acknowledge the existence of for the benefit of all humanity.
Was that film really bad?
Harley Quinn farts in the Batmobile in one scene.
She does what now?
Also, she like ties Nightwing to like a bed, and it's basically a very, very thinly veiled excuse for Bruce Timm to be horny on main only, except not in his drawings that he randomly does on the side. It's in his mainline project.
Yikes! I don't want to watch that film. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, you really don't have to.
So you got inspiration from that show. So is that like the only thing you took inspiration from when writing your outline, or was there other things?
I got inspiration from the Grant Morrison Justice League run. Grant Morrison is a really, really good writer. I would recommend his Batman run is really good. He wrote All-Star Superman, which is probably one of the best comics I've ever read.
So Kino. Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people talk about him today, but in all honesty, and compared to a lot of other writers, I feel like most people don't. In a lot of ways, he's kind of underrated almost from my experience, although there's obviously a lot of people who recognize his importance because of things like All-Star Superman. But maybe that's just my perspective. Maybe I haven't seen enough commentary on it. Admittedly, comics are something that I used to read a lot more of them. I mainly read them for projects now, so maybe I just haven't seen people comment on them as much as they could have. And I'm being informed that, yes, that is just my perspective, so forgive me for wasting your time.
So... a second. So, when you wrote the outline, only like Batman, the first, how many of like all DC movies had been coming out? Like, did you take inspiration? I don't know how to phrase it. Like, take inspiration from the films that like Batman, Nightfall, and stuff. Like, did you look at those movies? Or like, how would these characters like go from there? Like, were you doing any of that stuff?
Definitely. I think when I started writing it, Born to Run just finished. the way the characters were portrayed in those projects heavily influenced how they were in the Justice League. I really wanted to feel like, sort of like how the first Avengers movie felt like, oh yeah, this is the end of all those other films. They all come together for this.
I really did get that vibe with this one, so I think you acknowledge that, like, while you can't, I mean, I'm not going to name any in particular, but let's just say in order for it to really work, you not only have to have the knowledge of every single character and the films that have come before, but you have to know what the next moves for them would be in this team up, but without stepping on the toes of everyone still working on them individually. And I think you achieve the perfect balance with that.
And you really gotta think about their character arcs and how you want to progress the characters, maybe even talk to the directors and like of the past films, and really just make sure that you're putting that character where they need to be.
And I could definitely confirm that behind the scenes, he has done his homework. Obviously, he's read everything, and he always asked us before he made decisions. So I think he's definitely been doing good on that front.
And you also, to make a good team-up movie, you got to have the building blocks of all the past movies. So, like, some film universes, they do one film and then they go to the team-up. You know what I'm talking about, Proteus, I'm sure, but
What? Did you say something?
I was kind of poking fun at the DCEU because I said, you can't just do one
thought
film.
it was a glitch in the audio.
No, it wasn't.
Fair enough.
But we have all these films, solo films of all the characters, so it felt, it was right to go into a team-up movie because we had all the building blocks of the previous movies to kind of build off of.
Yeah, and then sometimes you have the good attempts, you have the, controversial attempts, and then you have, like, the dark universe, but, better left unsaid.
Gary Proteus, that's the greatest cinematic event in human history.
Fair enough. Tom Cruise's The Mummy is probably, I would have to say it's, I guess it does have, you're right, it's a masterclass of action. I should really re-examine my viewpoint. And, going back to, like, the process of it, I think he really did a good job coming out on top, because it did start out as a pretty contentious process. There were a lot of them. The only, like, the main final ones that went in were from Jedhu, Senna, Chucky, and Loonie, of course, and Nigerian Prince. I think all of them had merit, but I definitely like that Loonie's was the one that got chosen, because I think it was the one that put the most effort into continuing where the characters left off and making sure that they're all left in places with room to grow afterwards, as well as, just being a pretty entertaining film with lovable and also hateable villains in the process. Speaking of obviously I know he's the go-to guy when you need a really menacing villain, but Gary as Vandal Savage.
Incredible.
Yes. And Noah is, of course, doing pretty good at Starro Prime 2 so far.
Starro was actually not in the original draft, but, like, actually read the first JLA comic. I thought, you know what? I think Starro would be pretty good for it if you, like, reimagine it a little.
Yeah, I think you did a good job with that, and of course, it's always good to, like, bring characters with that kind of iconography. Like, I haven't seen much of him in recent stuff, but, like, I'm sure even if you don't read comics, everyone has seen the first JLA cover comic where they're all fighting Starro.
So Loonie, who's like your favorite character to kind of like on the team, basically, like to kind of not write for, but to like plan out what they were gonna do. Like, do you have a favorite, like, whether it be hero or villain? Like,
it's a really hard question, but I would say the most fun dynamic to write was between Green Lantern and Batman.
Batman?
Batman and Green Lantern, respectively. Hal Jordan.
Oh, like why?
The way I see it is, like, Green Lantern. He's part of the Green Lantern Corps, obviously, and he's used to working on a team, but, like, not with other people. With, like, let's describe, like, he's not used to working on this team of superheroes who are absolutely nothing like the rest of the people that he knows from alien police force, basically. It's like a fish out of water into a different pond, so to speak. Batman was really interesting to write because of the his evolution from Nightfall to Vengeance all the way to JLA. It's like really see how he's changed throughout all those 3 movies.
I really like it, and I think that so far, mainly probably because he's had the most films, Batman has been the most well-developed character-wise, and I'm really looking forward to seeing where he goes through the rest of JLA and, of course, Midnight later on. Good job, by the way, with that, buddy, Flash.
Thank you.
I think you do well playing it.
You know,
really good.
I try.
I think the entire JLA cast is very well casted. Of course, Noah doing double duty as Hal Jordan, perfect, absolutely perfect. He's got that. I think he's also got that. I think. Well, sorry to stutter it up, but I think he's got the perfect way of balancing the character and also the actor castism. Like he's got that perfect amount of crisp pininess, if you know what I mean. And of course Spider as Wally West, and
Wonder Woman.
Yes, of course Chucky as Wonder Woman. Love doing scenes with him. Of course, the little as small as they've been so far, the interaction, or at least in this film so far, the interactions with him as between Steve and Diana are always fun.
Did you guys say Superman already?
Yes, Superman. I know Hunter's been a little busy lately, but I assume I know he's going to be getting back to doing it probably the last few sessions. But he definitely he's definitely good as Superman. I think he's got the right kind of stoic energy for it.
And Gary's been has he been filling in for him, right? Or was that Spider?
It's been Nigerian Prince, which he's doing.
Oh,
good.
Right. Sorry. Yeah, he's been doing good as that as well. He's fit the role. Like, he had to quickly. Did he fill in for him on American Alien too?
No, he was actually there for most of American Alien. One time Cage filled in for him, but yeah, he was there for the most of that.
Well then, I mean, Nigerian kind of just, was thrown into that, and he's been doing pretty good then.
I mean, he does Nigerian, yeah, he's done just fine with it. So yeah, I should give props to him for how long he's been, for the few sessions that he's been filling in for, because he is great, and he performs just as Hunter would do.
Very adaptable.
Yeah, so is there anything else you want to say about making it Loonie? Like, it's your first film, and I'm very proud that you've gotten that far, because I think eventually that people will look back on JLA, and I think they'll recognize what an accomplishment it really is, because it was your first film, bringing all these characters together with all these storylines, and you absolutely nailed it.
Thank you so much. That means a lot coming from you, Proteus.
Oh, well, I'm humbled, but thank you. I really mean it, dude. I don't consider myself any great or anything, so trust me when I say you done good, kid. You done good.
And I mean, take it from a guy who got fired from his only directing position, but you're doing good. You haven't gotten fired yet, man. So
you're just. I mean, you.
Hey, no, it's okay. It's all good. No, I'm just saying. I don't have any experience, so it doesn't mean much. But you're doing great, considering how much pressure there is for this is the first team-up DC film. So, not many people could fill those shoes and do that almost by yourself, really. I mean, except for Chucky helping you with the soundtrack, but other than that, you're really doing it by yourself.
Chucky's been a big help with the soundtrack because I cannot select non-licensed music at all.
Actually, shout out to Chucky for basically every project ever, because whenever someone is having a struggle finding music, chances are he's gonna be there.
Yeah, his brain is like a music library. He just knows what to choose at any given moment.
I think after JLA, I think definitely it's going to have an impact on what keeps going forward. I mean, obviously we can't spoil the ending of it, and I won't do that, but I definitely think it's going to have an impact on what goes forward, and it will definitely mean that there will be more stakes going forward when it comes to this universe. I'm very much looking forward to it with what goes forward, especially. I may be biased because my own film is one of those, but I definitely look forward to seeing what everyone else has to bring. Batman Midnight, Superman Panic in the Sky. And of course, Booster Gold finally coming this year too.
Directed by Jorn Lonkit.
My boy Jorn Lonkit.
The Rise of Booster.
Rise of Booster. And Skeets, can't forget him.
So is there anything else you want to talk about before, we go?
Okay, now I can discuss my flat Earth theories.
Oh,
saying,
no.
There's some stuff about it.
There's some stuff about it. And guys, this is a bit of a bittersweet ending. I've had a lot of fun doing this one. I'm glad you guys came, but this is also a bit of a damn bruh moment right now, because this is going to be Flash's last time doing our FS Honor podcast with us. It's been really great to have you here. I mean, I must say it was your idea after all, and I'm very glad that you did, because I actually kind of couldn't imagine what the last few months would have been like in informing people about FS events without the podcast. Like, sure, we still have server-wide pings and the scripts channel and announcements and green meanies, but believe it or not, I feel like people being able to see and listen to this stuff helps people keep track of it too, and I'm really glad that you came up with that idea.
Yeah, I wanted a place to, talk about fan scripture stuff, but at this point, I'm kind of just I lost a little bit of passion for it, and it's hard for me to keep up with everything. And I just don't really feel, it doesn't feel right for me to be here when I'm not as passionate as you or as passionate as most people are. And, I still want to be a part of the community, but I'm really just thinking, I think I'm really done with acting and roles here, except for, I'm gonna end it with Justice League, and that's probably my last, acting role on fan scripture. And it's sad. I've been here since Spider-Man 4, but I don't know. It's just I think you gotta know when to hang it up.
I understand, and I respect your decision. As sad as it makes me, I completely understand where you're coming from, and I'm glad that you'll stick around so that we can still, talk with you, even if you won't be active in projects-wise anymore. And at the very least, the time that you had with us doing it, that's never gonna go away.
Yeah.
That's the important thing.
You did awesome, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, that. Yeah, you're really great, and I'm glad that you've been with us, and we'll miss you a lot, but we're glad that you'll at least be around to talk and joke around with us when we want. And again, I really value these last episodes that we've done, because I have to say we have really it's been fun for me doing it. Obviously, I don't think this is going to be the end of the podcast or anything, but it's been fun doing it with you. I think you're a great co-host. You're a great foil to, I guess, my more... It's weird because I consider myself an introvert, but I think every time I listen to the podcast, with each episode, I kind of sound more energetic in a way. And I appreciate your more generally, straight man kind of energy to me.
Thank you. I'm Jim Office.
Jim Office.
But
does that make me Dwight or Michael?
No,
I don't know.
You could be whatever one you want, but
yeah,
Dwight...
I'll take Dwight, because I think Michael is just, he's Michael.
And you never rule out. We could always do a reunion podcast where we just shoot the shit or talk about whatever, just as a little one-off thing. You never know. And
the Lost episode part 2, baby.
Yes, exactly. You never know. But I think it's just time for me to formally just put it down and be like, maybe I'm done here, and just retire. So, I love you all. Thank you for listening to me as a co-host. This podcast probably isn't over. I'm sure Proteus will find a new co-host.
Love you too, buddy. And yeah, trust me, I'm sure we will, and I'm really glad that you've been with us. Definitely understand where you're coming from, and I just, it's been really good to have just one last ride with you. Yeah, you're the Paul Walker to my Vin Diesel. Yes. Never turn your back on family.
Oh man, and it's fitting to end it on Justice League. I think because it's the final team up, the not finale, but it's the big crossover. So I think ending it there just makes sense for me.
Yes, yes, I hear you, and I agree with you. But clearly, you have a flair for show business, my friend.
I do indeed.
This is the greatest show.
This is the greatest show.
This is the greatest show.
Yeah, and I think that's gonna be it for this episode. Again, really glad having you all, and it's bittersweet for me, but I'm really glad that we managed to do this one. Thank you so much for coming on, Loonie. It's been I'm glad that you wanted to talk about this film because I've actually really had a lot of fun doing it, and I think you did a great job, and I can't wait to see how we end things. And of course, Flash, I'll miss you, buddy. I know we can't physically do it because we already lived in different countries, and of course, COVID-19. But metaphorical hug.
Okay, metaphorical hug. Just
imagine it. I just hope that when he leaves, that my alter ego Dark Proton will not take over the other mic again, because I think that would be too powerful to handle. But I've got him buried in my mind. Spider made sure that we did it before we ever got back to it after that one time. So don't worry. I'm sure he'll stay locked up back there.
Okay, that's good. Okay,
but yeah,
well,
I guess that's it from us for this episode. Really great talking to you guys. It's kind of the end of an era.
it is. It really is.
But yeah, I'm glad that we did this one, and I hope everyone listening has enjoyed this episode, and I hope that don't go anywhere, because I am certain that we will all find a way to continue this in the future. Can't say how, but we'll find a way. Life finds a way.